It's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and you know when I laugh, what it means, right? All right, let's just get into it, folks. I'm going to be talking about Wicked for Good. It is the sequel to the Wicked film that came out starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo and Jeff Goldblum and some other good folks. And the this film took the world by storm, right? And as we know, it is based off the source material, which is the Broadway play Wicked, just built to build. But it's a whole universe. There's a whole Wicked universe, and it basically, if you grew up watching The Wizard of Oz or The Wiz or what have you, it's this whole kind of same story, right? Dorothy, Toto, Tin Man, Scarecrow, and things like that. Wicked kind of takes a little bit of a different turn, kind of looks at, the Wicked Witch, what was her life before she became wicked and before people decided that she was wicked or whatever the situation is, kind of creating empathy around this character. Maybe she was maligned, maybe she, whatever was going on, right? I don't need to get all into that because if you don't know the story, you don't know the story. We're just going to talk about this particular film. So just full disclosure, I actually don't like Wicked. I am a musical theater person. Love, love, love musical theater with my whole heart. And that's something that, I have to put it out there because one of the things that people will do is they'll say, well, you're not going to like it if you don't like musicals. I love musicals, okay? I love The Wiz. So, it's not that I don't like the story. It's not that I don't like, musicals. I just didn't like Wicked. And here's the thing. I saw it when Idina Menzel was playing Effable. Effelba, whatever. Ellie. We'll call her Ellie because that's what they call her anyway. I love Idina Menzel. I'll see anything that woman is. If she's singing, if she's belting out a tune, listen, Frozen. Okay, let's just put it out there. All right. One of the greatest Broadway voices. I don't know her as a person. I don't know what her personality is like. I know she was married to Taye Diggs. That's all I really know. But I just know that if that woman is singing, I'm listening, right? So I went to see Wicked, and I remember, seeing the musical and being like, didn't really do much for me. Again, I love The Wiz. So I shouldn't compare them, but I did. So now we have this kind of we could call it a reboot, but it's this trend of taking Broadway shows and making them into films, or taking films and making them into Broadway shows. Broadway has been struggling a lot with creativity in that they're going for the quick money, and often that means taking the life of a musician, maybe taking one of their albums, turning it into like a story of their life, that kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of it, although I did enjoy the Michael Jackson one. I just think it's kind of easy and cheap, right? As somebody with a theater background, I've written, my own play, I've directed my own play. This is something that I think a lot about sometimes. So this idea that we're taking this musical and making it a movie, to me, originally just screams money grab, right? But for some people would say, it's accessibility. Not everyone can afford to go to Broadway. That's a big issue, right? Broadway tickets, being hundreds of dollars each, it really makes seeing a Broadway musical inaccessible to the average person. So I get it. You make a film and then people can go and they can watch it. Wizard came, I mean, I keep saying Wizard, see, because I like The Wiz. Okay, so Wicked came and kind of took the world by storm. And the casting, I don't like it. So I tried to watch the first Wicked. Full disclosure. And I should give a spoiler alert. I'll be talking about some things in here that come from the film. So if you haven't seen it yet, you may want to stop and come back. I might get into some details about things. I keep forgetting to do that, but I just think that you should know by now that I'm gonna do spoiler. So I didn't go to the theater to see the first one. I was able to catch it on television. I started watching it for about 10 minutes and then I turned it off. I already know the story, so I wasn't missing anything. Turned it off because I was like, what the hell is this? Um, Ariana Grande is not a good actress by any stretch of the imagination. She is a recording artist who came out with a lot of blackfishing. trying to be a baby Mariah, slicked hair, ponytail, the hoop earrings, doing that whole thing. So I was already off her, and then her music does nothing, absolutely nothing for me. Um, but she's not a good actress either. And so you're already setting this franchise up for failure, right? Um, Cynthia Erivo, there's a whole lot that I could get into about some of the issues that people have with her. But I won't because I don't think it's necessarily relevant to this. I just don't think that she's the strongest actress either. I do think that Cynthia Erivo has a solid place on Broadway. Like I think that she is a black woman, British black woman, although niggas, you guys, black people are not British. You're likely from West Africa or the Caribbean or something like that, and people migrated there. I mean, there's only like 3.7% of the UK population is black, and like this many can probably trace their lineage back, to the 1700s, 1600s, what have you. So, but anyway, she's a black British woman, and just briefly in the past, she has made some derogatory comments about African Americans. And so that has led to a lot of people not really messing with her. And I get it. Like, I don't, it's whatever. But since she's done that, she has become this kind of go-to black woman actress who everybody wants to put in everything. And it's kind of like the Kevin Hart effect, right? For a time, Kevin Hart was in like every movie, right? And these are people who appeal to the white gaze. And so Cynthia Erivo absolutely 100% in everything that she does appeals to the white gaze. And the thing that troubles me is that she has been cast in roles depicting the very same African Americans that she disparaged, right? She played Harriet Tubman and all these other things, and it's just kind of like, you know, so many black women actresses out there that are not getting work because everyone is going to Cynthia Erivo because she's hot. That's not necessarily her fault, right? But that does add a bit of a lens here. So casting her in Wicked is also an interesting choice. It's never been a black Ethelbald before. So, the dynamics of this, right? This whole idea of somebody being cast out and being treated in these ways. And while Wicked itself kind of looks a lot into the misogyny of things, adding a black woman as the actress should have brought in more racial conversations. And I just don't think that it did, at least not from what I observed the first time around. So when I went to go see this, I was going as a part of a larger function with a couple of organizations that I support in my area because I was kind of like, I had no intention of seeing it, but I went to support. And I went with my friend, and we're sitting there, and like just every once in a while, we just both start laughing at how ridiculously bad this film is. It is. And I will admit that my favorite song from the whole music is "No Good Deed," and that. If you please go listen to Adina Menzel singing "No Good Deed." Full body chills when she sings that song. I mean, and it was written for her. Like, here's the thing. When people write songs for Adina Menzel, there are very few people that can come behind her and make it their own. That's just the truth of it, right? And maybe that speaks to, part of the issue with Wicked is that I don't think it transfers well to other people. It just doesn't. I went and I looked at some of the other, women that played the role and listening to them. It just doesn't work. But I was interested to see in what Cynthia Erivo would do. And I will say that she did a decent job. I think she did probably the best vocal performance I've heard from her in this particular genre, right? I'm gonna give her the credit for it. It was not as good as Adina, okay? But it was a solid performance. And I like the visualization of it a little bit. So we're dealing with Ariana Grande, who's playing Galinda slash Glinda, the Wicked Witch. I mean, not the Wicked, it's the Good Witch of the East, whatever. She has no powers, right? So she's basically like this figure, this really kind of she's a puppet, she's a prop, right? And she's dealing with her own jealousy issues, she's dealing with her own insecurities about not being magical. She knows she's being used as a prop, but she's convinced herself that, it's okay because this is what she's always wanted. And it kind of goes into, gets a little mushy, of course. The man that she wants to marry is actually in love with Ellie, and, she can't handle that. And it's a whole, like, thing there that happens. Um, which I just found utterly annoying. I don't like that this is a show that is supposed to be addressing kind of misogyny and things like that, and then it throws in this kind of sappy loop love story thing, and it's totally unnecessary to me. However, this is what I will say that I did like about the film. The lore behind how the Tin Man became the Tin Man, how Scarecrow became Scarecrow, how the Cowardly Lion became the Cowardly Lion. That's probably the one thing that I do like about Wicked is that it does give a bit of a backstory. And I thought that they depicted that well here. I will give them love for the costumes. Absolute great costuming. I'm not getting into any kind of body shaming. Ariana Grande has been dealing with a lot of that and people questioning like what's going on. If you've seen Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande out there on their tour. They're very awkward together, feeling all over each other all the time. Cynthia playing her personal bodyguard. It's been a whole like very weird thing going on with them, and everybody's been talking about it. So it's not just me being a hater. It's just very odd to see them together. But it's hard to not notice that both of them are, incredibly thin, and some people are naturally like that. But I had an issue in the film that there were scenes where Ariana's clavicle and her upper body were emphasized, and it was very skeletal. And I think that in terms of costuming, they could have done something to maybe give her something a little more high neck or something like that. I don't know what her personal life is like, but I just think that costumers, you're supposed to dress the body. And they were not dressing her body in a way that wasn't distracting. And so I found myself distracted by how skeletal her chest looked and things like that to the point where I could not pay attention to the performance. Doesn't matter, the performance wasn't great enough to pay attention to anyway. So that could be why I was so easily distracted, by that. But I just think they could have done a better job with that. But outside of that, I thought the costuming was great. Set design was decent. Sound was okay. I didn't think the sound editing was all that great, but it wasn't horrible. The film went on entirely too long. We didn't need all of that, but we got No Good Deed, and so it's from Act Two, so we get that very good song, probably to me the best song of the whole musical, and I think that Cynthia did a decent job with it. Um, I just don't think that she's that strong of an actress, but I don't think that you need to be a strong actress to be in Wicked. It's a fluffy story. There's not much substance to it. Does not make you think about much. So you don't have to go in with any high expectations. The young people seem to love it. The kids seem to love it. There's a whole fandom around it. I'm not going to take that from them, but I just don't think. And they said that they're going to make many more because again, it's a cash grab. So I think that's what we're kind of dealing with. And I just. That ain't it, y'all. That ain't it. It just ain't it for me. I'm sorry with the blinds and the light or what have you. It's a bit distracting. I know. I'm sorry that I decided to record this at a time where the light would be coming into my office like this. Um, there was so many points in this film where I was just like rolling my eyes and saying, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is stupid. Oh my God, what are they doing? And so, you know, again, that's just my opinion. That's what I got from watching it. I don't care about whatever subtext you're trying to pull out of it. I saw some debates about it. I just don't think it's a film that's even worth debating. Um, Ariana Grande needs to learn how to act. That's what I want to say. She needs to learn how to act. I think Cynthia holds her own for doing the best that she can with what she's got. Um, but it doesn't take much to play Ellie. So, and she's got a decent voice. So let's go. So yeah, so I'm gonna give Wicked for Good two hearts. One heart is for No Good Deed. Um, one heart is for the costumes. So yeah. So thank you for watching. If this is your first time, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. I really appreciate you and the support that I continue to get to do this. It's fun for me. I don't make no money off of this, but it's fun for me. So thank you for watching. I'm very interested in what you thought about Wicked for Good if you saw it, or just kind of the whole Wicked universe. Make sure you leave a comment, and I will see y'all next time.